Okay, and you had item E?
Yes, I just, and Mike, I need to have you, or city attorney, involved in on this. Pat, the reason I brought this up is again, because of my employment with AC Transit and recusing myself, the need to recuse myself on anything that relates to AC Transit. What I can't tell from the scope of services here is whether this addition to the Ferguson contract has anything to do with the efforts to acquire the AC Transit bus yard for the city. I'm sorry, for the school expansion.
My understanding is that it's just efforts to acquire funding for the ECCL in general. I don't believe it's location specific.
That's
Okay.
right.
Is there anything with regard to my employment with AC Transit that would prohibit me from voting on this,
I
in
don't
your
believe
opinion?
so.
All right, thank you. I'd move approval of the item.
I had a question on this item. I noticed that in previous approvals, we had the transit center listed, and we no longer have that listed. So when it just says various other projects, what projects will we be talking about there?
Well, it's basically your capital improvement program. So we're going to develop a list of projects that are kind of the highest priority ones, but essentially any project on your capital improvement program that could be funded from federal funds is something worth considering.
All right, I'll second Dick's motion.
Is there any objection to the motion? Motion passes unanimously. Item 7A, a
Oh,
resolution...
I'm sorry, I also removed item F.
Well, this is an informational request.
I know, but I
You want more information?
You want more
well,
information?
no, what I want to do is highlight this. This is a report to us on, basically on Bay Street, the shopping center, and what the redevelopment agency has put into there, and what the returns are projected to be and what they have been so far. It's an incredibly informative report that I think goes to deal with a lot of the misconceptions that are out there that people voice sometimes about our large financial involvement in that project, and why we did what we did, and how that's panning out. So what I would like to see is, rather than this just be something that goes via the consent calendar and then gets filed away, I think this is important information I would like to see gotten out to the public. And, you know, under previous situations, I would ask that it be published in the Emery.News, but since I think our sponsorship of that is either ended or about to end, that's probably not the appropriate place. So I'd like to see us, as one council member, I'd like to see this on ETV, and have this as a document that's available for people to get on the website if they're interested in looking at developments, and specifically Side A, expenses versus income kinds of information. If people have any other thoughts about how to get this out, I'd certainly like to listen to them, but I think it's important that people be informed about this rather than having it just get filed away.
Any other comments? The only comment I have to make, Dick, is that to put a document of this size on ETV, no one's going to read it. We will have to think of other ways to disseminate it, or work with people to get the basic facts there. I'd like to see a derivative, just a bullet point sheet that goes with the highlights on that.
Sure, that's
It could be put
fine.
on the web, though. It should be put
Yeah.
on the web.
Well, it could be, certainly could be included on the web. It's on there anyhow, isn't it?
We could do not this level of information. We could do a bullet point summary that's included on the web, and if you would like to continue this item and make it an administrative item on a future agenda, then staff can provide you with a staff report that summarizes it, the information, and then of course that will be rebroadcast as council meetings are rebroadcast on ETV.
I think there's value in doing that.
Well,
I would
it's
say
a
do it.
very valuable document
Yeah.
because, as you said, there is a lot of misinformation that has been disseminated in the community.
Well, when we've spent $28 million of redevelopment money for a small city to make Bay Street happen, that's a pretty significant thing, and the voters ought to know what they're getting for that. So I would like to see us I would request that be placed on a future agenda. Doesn't have to be the next one if we're not ready, but like to see it taken up. And with that, I guess we don't need to
No.
pass it.
Can I just make a comment? If we're going to put it on a future agenda, it would be nice to know what the present value is of the loan agreement. If you went to a bank, there's no way that you'd get the loan terms that the city, gave to Madison Marquette. So the staff report suggests that we just made this loan. Well, that was not an arm's length transaction. There was a subsidy in that, and that's not really quantified in this report. In other words, there was value associated with that loan because there's no way a bank would give such a loan.
That's a
So
fair
it'd be
comment.
nice to have that number too. I mean, I did a little number crunching, and there's no way to precisely calculate it, but it's in the neighborhood of $10 million, I think.
Pat, is that something that could be done?
Pat, could you make sure to thank Michelle for her writing?
I will. Thank you.
Okay, can we move along to item 7A?